grew up with a community of my family members. So every house was different, right? In some houses, I was eating mayonnaise and syrup sandwiches. Growing up with my grandma, I just always knew there wasn't enough. My grandma was a domestic worker. She worked for wealthy families. And she was my great grandma, actually, my grandmother and my great grandmother. And so watching them kind of always make it work, always put it together. I remember in third grade, my grandmother, they used to, my uncles used to like write a Nike sign on the side of my Payless, like shoes. We were poor, like we didn't have it, right? I remember my grandmother bought me some Fila's, some pink and white Fila's, baby, and I felt like I was so rich. I remember that in third and fourth grade. But as I got older, I moved in with other family members who had it, right? I would come downstairs and there'd be lunch money on the table. I think I had a fur in 10th grade. People was like, "Is that mink?" I was like, "Yeah." I mean, it might have been hot, but it was still it was still a mink, right? So I got to taste a little bit of all of it. By the time I went to college, I realized, or I found out that there had been an eviction in my name, to double back what Joe was saying, and I had a phone bill and collections that I had to protest, right? Like, so people had already thrown my credit into the garbage. But after I protested those things, I then went and got $40,000 worth of debt from school loans, and I had a free ride to school, right? Because, like I said, nobody showed me and told me, "Hey, don't do this. Don't sign Sally Mae loans for no reason. Like, you don't need it. You have a full ride. Go." So, anyway, I'm saying all of that to say I seen a little bit of all of it, where it almost like by the time I got to college, I felt like, kind of spoiled. I would call home and be like, "Hey, I need some money." Monty be like, "Listen, that ain't what this is around here. You got to figure it out." So um, so I did the whole thing, the whole trap of Discover cards and all of that, buying expensive shoes, trying to go to class. It was just me being irresponsible. And I still pay for those things to this day, just making those, not knowing and making those bad decisions.
Those are some tough lessons, baby. Because I too,
Hmm.
used had the Pell Grants. I had, pretty much a free ride. But those credit card companies on the college campuses really did convince you that that's exactly what you needed. And it took me a while to dig myself out. I'm proud to say I am very much well rounded with that now. But I had to learn the hard way, and that was a long haul. So, Joe, do you think parents should be upfront with their kids about family finances, or should they be shielded from the financial realities? Now, Tiara said she already, she kind of knew it was back and forth. I knew it was back and forth. What about you? How do you think we should be more upfront with our children?
No, I don't think that you should have children worried about finances in the home because they feel responsible and they take that on. I've seen that firsthand. But I do think, you know what I mean, you should educate your kids about, you know, why we're not going to McDonald's instead of just saying we don't have McDonald's money. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Talk to them about what it means to budget, you know, how to preserve some finances. There's a lot of things that, like I'm listening to your story. I mean, that sounds very familiar.